Bonjour à toutes et tous, vous écoutez First Print, votre podcast comics préféré. On se retrouve pour un nouveau numéro des SuperFriends enregistré en plein Paris Fan Festival. On est dans l'espace presse, il y a des gens tout autour de nous, enfin on les voit pas, mais on les entend, on espère que ce sera quand même audible pour vous. Donc dans ce numéro, dans cette petite émission, on est avec Marcio Takara, grand dessinateur qu'on avait qu'on suit depuis longtemps, notamment avec ses travaux chez DC Comics. On se rappelle de son Detective Comics avec Peter J. Tomasi. En ce moment, il explose avec la Poison Ivy de J. Willow Wilson. On va se retrouver donc après le générique en anglais, bien entendu. On espère que cette interview vous plaira, et si ça vous plaît, n'hésitez pas à le faire savoir et à partager. So here we are, Marcio. How are you?
Hey, hi. I'm good. That sounds really fancy. You're French.
Yeah, it's fancy French, but French is fancy usually.
Okay.
So don't be intimidated by us because
It's okay.
I'm with Corentin also.
I'm a little bit, but it's okay.
But it's okay. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
So this is the first time that we actually speak together.
It is, yeah.
It is. So could you just briefly introduce yourself?
I'm Marcio Takara. I'm a comic artist from Brazil. I used to live in Canada. Sometimes people confuses me. Sometimes people think I'm Canadian, but I actually live in Rio, Brazil. Was born in Rio. I've been drawing comics since 2006. First for Boom, then DC, Marvel, and I've been doing stuff for DC for the last couple of years.
So one question I like to ask is, were you a comic book fan when you were younger, and is it easy to have access to comic books in Rio, Brazil?
Yeah, they publish comics, not as much as in the US, but yeah, I've been reading it since the 80s, 90s. The X-Men from the Silvestri era, the Australia one, the Jim Lee and Liefeld, stuff like that,
So that's with this comic book that you were raised?
Yeah, my favorite was the Justice League International, the Keith Giffen era, with Maguire and Adam Hughes and those guys and others.
I think in terms of influences, you once said you were a fan of Adam Hughes and Stuart Timonen.
Yeah, I like a lot of. I have a lot of influences, but yeah, Eminem for sure. Adam Hughes for the ladies, I guess. Frank Cho, I don't know. Quipel. There's so many of them. Bachalo, I love Chris Bachalo. He's one of my favorite. Yeah, those kind of guys.
So at what point in your life did you decide to be a comic book artist? That you were not just be reading comic books, but also doing them?
Well, I'm sorry, what was the question?
At what point of your life did you decide to be a comic book artist?
Because at first I was a graphic designer.
Okay.
I have a bachelor's degree, but that was very boring. And I hate to deal with clients all the time. They keep asking for changes all the time. So I just quit. And I told my family at the time that I was going to try to draw comics. So I sent my drawings to all the editors I know at the time. And out of nowhere, Marvel called me. So...
All right, and I guess you had to maybe learn some new techniques of drawings because designing is not the same thing as storytelling.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, no, I had to because at first we all suck. When we start, my first job was for Marvel, but it looks really bad. It was a Spider-Man and Fantastic Four telling kids not to do alcohol and drugs, and it sucks. And then I went to Boom. I was writing Incredibles, and I am really embarrassed as well, by the quality of the drawing. And you just learn by doing it. It's been almost 20 years now, so it can only get better, I guess, if you do that every day, I guess.
And you're not getting bored by drawing superhero stuff?
If I'm not getting bored?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm getting bored. I'm probably a little tired by now because of all the deadlines. But I don't know, man. I'm drawing one of my favorite characters right now, with Poison Ivy. That's it's fun, I can't complain.
You've passed through several eras of comics since you began your career.
Yeah.
There was the New 52, there was the all new Marvel. And nowadays you're on Poison Ivy, which is a title that would be described as fresh and new for some people. Do you think that the era, the atmosphere for artists in the industry has evolved into something more free, more liberated?
I don't know. That's a really big question.
And the answer only depends on you.
Yeah.
You can just say yes or no.
I think so, because the thing with Poison Ivy specifically, I don't think she had a book before, so we had the freedom to do whatever we wanted to. So I guess maybe that's one of the reasons that I am still there, and maybe that's why G Willow is still writing it too, because we could do basically anything we wanted to. So I guess so. If I was in a book like Batman or the X-Men, we wouldn't have the same freedom that we have with Poison Ivy, I guess.
Yeah, and Poison Ivy is actually a success story in terms of comics. How did that book came to be, and how did it evolve inside DC Comics?
At first, they wanted to do a 6-issue mini, but it sold a lot, and it surprised everyone. It surprised me and the DC guys as well. It sold a lot, so they decided to do a 12-issue series, and then it's now an ongoing because it's still selling, and I'm drawing issue 26. I'm gonna be doing 27, 28. So and they keep asking me if I want to stay in the book, and I'm gonna be here forever as long as you want me to. I'm okay with Poison Ivy. So.
Because you only had plans initially for 6 issues.
At first, yeah, that was the whole plan.
So you had to come up with new ideas in terms of graphics eventually.
In terms of graphics, yeah, because I designed the new costume, the mushroom costume. Now she has a new costume as well because she lost the mushroom powers. She has plant powers. I don't think they announced that yet, but she's gonna have a new costume. So that's the kind of freedom that I wouldn't have with Batman or Superman. You know, so that's part of the fun.
That's something I think struck a lot with readers is the mushroom horror genre.
Yeah.
It's really detailed. It's really graphic. It's not especially. It's gore, but it's not gore like bloody. How did you construct this whole new language of horror, which speaks about? I mean, it looks like something in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just a matter of grabbing as much reference as I could. So I have a whole folder full of mushroom and gooey stuff. And then later, after a few months, I discovered that I think about The Last of Us. He has the main bad guy is a mushroom.
Yeah, it's a cordyceps.
I had no idea, and that was good, I guess, because later but that was basically it. I have a lot of reference for that. So.
Of people getting eaten by mushrooms.
Of people eating, really disgusting things. Yeah, lots of mushrooms, and now I have a plant folder as well, full of all types of plants now. So
another thing is the way that J. Willow Wilson said that this series was a way to synthesize all the versions of Poison Ivy in just one canal. And in your comics, we can see the classic costume, we can see the new costume, we can see this relationship with Harley. So. Was it also your plan to do like the big Poison Ivy book where you can put every iteration of the character?
Yeah, because when they asked me to draw the book, I thought it would be the classic version. And I thought she would be with Harley at first, but it took us 5 or 6 issues for them to be together. And the fans were complaining all the time on the web, and I was, man, I want to draw Harley too, but I guess we'll have to wait. And then the classic costume, I think it took us almost 10 issues for me to draw the classic costume, which was great as well.
I think that issue with Harley and Ivy actually looks a lot like Adam Hughes actually.
You think so?
Yeah,
thanks.
I think in terms of structure and
thanks, man.
Maybe the pseudo-erotic loving postures.
Thanks. Yeah, I try to draw the female characters with to treat them with respect, I guess, without showing too. I try to make them look sensual, but not too trashy. You know, like respecting the character. You know,
it works great.
Yeah. And that was one of the reasons, I guess, that DC keep asking me to draw female characters and Marvel as well.
Yeah, and there are also issues with guest artists who took your designs to make their own. So, do you think you had actually an influence on something as big as the DC canon comic book aesthetic?
That's amazing. That's awesome to see, and even in some miniseries outside of the book. And I can't wait to see the Fortnite character with my costume as well, with the Funko Pops. You know, like that would be fantastic.
I also had a question about the character of Undyne, who has a flower for a face. This one made me think about the Kitano movie Hanabi. You know, where there's these paintings with people who just have flowers for faces. It's actually a great idea visually.
Okay.
How did you come up with that?
That was Willow. She asked for a specific flower to be drawn. And that was basically it. You know, usually when there's a new character, there's just a paragraph describing the character. And they give me the freedom to go with whatever I want.
Yeah. And also
the colors was RF, the colors, which I think it's purplish,
And there's also the way you draw the hairs of Ivy.
The hands?
The hair.
Oh, the hair.
Okay. Yeah. When she's in goddess mode, she'll have this long, flowy hair that took every panels. And when she's in a more human and sensible position, she'll have a less cloudy hair. Is that something that you come up with on the go, or do you have a plan for the hair in every panel?
The crazy hair is just me going crazy. But when she's humanish, I think I use reference a lot. So there's some supermodels that I use for hair, and that's
how would you describe your relationship with J. Willow Wilson? How are you working together?
I never met her in person. I think she's based in Seattle. We talked briefly about football. I think it's football here in France, right?
Yeah,
because she's a big football fan. And I'm too, because I'm from Brazil, so
obviously,
and we know some players that played in both teams, you know, which is awesome. But we never met in person. She's amazing. I love the way she writes. She's one of the reasons I'm working on the book, because of all the Ms. Marvel thing that she did before, and I love the freedom that she gives me to put my own input on everything as well. You know, graphically, it's great.
So there's not many back and forth between the panels and the pages. She doesn't ask for changes or even with.
Every once in a while she will, you know, but she's not too picky, which she could be, you know. I don't mind, but it's just a matter of, you know. It's a great relationship. I can't complain. You know.
In terms of the relationship with the editor, when we had Mike Perkins last year, who worked on something with Ramvi, he said that some covers were rejected because it's still a mainstream character. You can't go too far into the horror. Do you have maybe the same situation? Because we had graphic pages. So did DC Comics sometimes say it's a bit too much? Maybe tone it down a little.
They have a department that. The censorship department that they sometimes it can be too gross, I guess, the violent things and the dead bodies and the sex scenes as well, because they have some sex scenes, but I can be too graphic. I try my best not to show too nipples but it happens sometimes. I think I only have a few conversations about that, you know, but it doesn't happen that often, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a good thing, because it's a book it's not an 18+ book, you know, like you have to be careful with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure, but it's only drawings.
Yeah,
it can't hurt. We've got just one more minute, so this is the question that we have to ask nowadays. Are you afraid of AI?
Afraid of AI?
Yeah. What do you think, or just what do you think about the use of AI in art?
I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. I don't use AI to draw anything, but I love the results, because I use Pinterest all the time for reference, and they have a lot of AI pictures over there nowadays, and some of them are really good, man. But I don't usually trace anything. I only use as visual reference, so it's a good thing for me. I'm not scared if I'm gonna lose a job. If I lose a job, I'm gonna do something else. You know, I just think it's interesting to see the evolution. You know.
So you said you were on issue 26 of Poison Ivy?
I'm drawing issue 26. I have one page here if you guys want to see it later.
Great.
And I'll be doing 27 and 28 for sure, and then we'll see. But I think I'll stay as long as they want me to.
That was my question. Do you know if the series has an ending ahead or?
So far, as far as I know, I don't think it's ongoing. As long as it keeps selling it. They're gonna
makes sense.
Publishing it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for your time,
so much.
Marcio.
Yeah.
This was really great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.